Hello, Internet.
What the fuck?
And welcome to the return. Well, yeah, I guess this can be the official return of the C Show because we just did a prediction show, and every motherfucker in the wrestling community does that shit. So, yeah, this is
wrong.
and most of our predictions were, well, I got some right and I got some wrong, and that's what happens with predictions. But we're here to review Wrestlemania 29. Wrestlemania, for those that do not know, took place in East Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, New Jersey, where the Jets play football.
And the Giants.
And the Giants. And before we go into
Is it in New York or New Jersey?
It's New York, New Jersey. New Jersey is technically a part of New York, isn't it?
Jersey's a state.
I don't know then. They say it's New York.
What the fuck?
They kept referring to They kept referring to.
Don't talk about America unless you actually know what you're talking about. Really?
Geography of I don't know.
He is from England, so whatever.
I don't know the geography.
I know that, but
again, yeah, I don't know the geography of the fucking states. I don't know where one begins and one ends.
It's weird. Like New Jersey is like a really shitty extension of New York, but it's a different state.
Yeah, because they kept referring to it as New York, New Jersey. So I just thought
I think it's because East Rutherford is basically right in the border.
Yeah. What the reason they called it New York, New Jersey, I think, is because the Hall of Fame and everything else was in New York. It was just the actual WrestleMania itself that was in New Jersey.
Okay, that makes no sense. I just thought, oh, okay, is New Jersey part of New York? And I just never knew. I thought it was its own state. That's why I was confused. Okay, yeah, New Jersey is its own state. Okay, thank you. So, I'm
gonna actually look up East Rutherford and find out if it's actually right on the border.
I have no idea.
I was thinking that since, like, there's a couple of islands, like where New York City is, maybe, like, this, I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but, yes, we are here to review WrestleMania 29, and, it's not just me here. My name is Riddler, by the way. Everyone else, introduce yourselves.
I'm Liquid Nation, bringing you the lack of internet drama for this one.
Thank you.
I'm really tired.
Hello, really?
You didn't sleep yesterday. How did you not sleep?
Because I have problems sleeping.
But Sally, if you want to...
And I am ranting, saying, hey there, shady fact, shady fact, how do you do?
What?
Right.
Well, can you tell who we're sponsored by?
Jimmy John's?
No, we aren't actually sponsored.
We're not actually sponsored. So yes, we didn't watch the pre-show, so we can't review that. All we know is Miz won and retained his IC title.
With a figure four.
With a figure four, fat lot of good that did him in the end.
I kind of wish that Miz didn't get the figure four.
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't do a good one.
With what happened on Raw, and we'll review Raw another time.
Let's not talk about Raw. We're here to talk about WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're here to talk about.
There might be people that haven't seen Raw.
Watching.
Okay, good point. It might be people who haven't seen Raw yet, but I'm just saying that did him. Yeah, WrestleMania opens up with a video from the New Jersey governor, the Jersey governor, and I have no idea who this guy is. He was just talking about what was his name? Chris Christie. Huh.
Okay. I just looked it up. A quick to interrupt. Basically, East Rutherford is the reason it's because it's I think more why it's considered New York or New Jersey and why it's the New York Jets and the New Jersey Jets. It's basically considered an inner-rig suburb of New York City, and it's located 7 miles west of Midtown Manhattan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but we get the Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey talking about 2012's Hurricane Sandy, and we get video highlights and the recovery and the rebuilding that's gone on. And I'm all for that. That's good. That's
Actually, come to think of it, though, that still doesn't explain the
doesn't
fact
matter. I
that
don't.
the Izod Center holds the home of the New Jersey Nets and the New Jersey Devils.
I don't. I really don't care. So we're live from MetLife Stadium as Diddy's song plays.
They're coming home.
Is that the I'm coming home, that one?
Don't know which one it's.
I hate that fucking song.
Yeah, that's a P Diddy song.
I hate anything Puff Daddy because he's a fucking one of those fucking monotone rappers that I hate. I hate that kind of rapper.
Draw back to the
To
show.
be honest, I preferred that song to last year's song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking flow
Last year's
rider.
song.
Oh god.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's good. I'm all for helping out people with Hurricane Sandy. Definitely no problems with that. And
I didn't know Hurricane Sandy was that bad.
yeah, I didn't know it was that bad either. And the National Guard's on stage with the American flags. Then we go to an opening promo for tonight's show.
Why is WrestleMania so goddamn American?
American Mania. You know what would be a big surprise if WrestleMania was in a different country? Jim
Yeah.
Duggan.
They're never gonna do WrestleMania in a different country, dude. I mean, there's been talk.
I don't see why they can't.
The most American fucking thing in the universe, yeah.
I mean, there's been talk. There's been rumors for fucking years. That
You know what's another thing that bothers me about America? They're so masturbatory.
Yeah, but honestly, there's been rumors for fucking years of a WrestleMania in Britain. It's never gonna happen.
It's like America's always like, we're America, yeah. But when you go to England, it's just like, we're England.
Anyway, we go to the first match.
England.
America, fuck yeah.
Well, actually, before we go to the first match, we may as well let people know that haven't seen this. They bumped the mixed tag match between Tons of Funk and Naomi and whatever the other girls.
But don't worry, it's on Raw for about 10 seconds.
It's on Raw for about 10 seconds. We go to the Shield versus Sheamus.
But at the same time, that match included Shitty Divas. So, and other than that there was no Diva match to be had on this card, which is both one, a good thing, and two, really telling on how much the WWE gives a shit about their division.
I wouldn't say it's a good thing. I'd say I want WWE to give a shit. I want the Divas to be a good division, but it ain't gonna happen for a while. So,
well, it's a good thing for us since we didn't have that we didn't have to suffer through it.
It's not a good thing for the talent, no.
It's a bad thing for fucking Cody Rhodes and
I was just gonna say how they padded out a 4-hour show, and with only like 7
padded out
with 7 matches, and they couldn't have a fucking 5 to 10 minute Lord Tensai match.
Yeah, they couldn't have cut out like one of the millions of the John Cena versus The Rock.
How about that montage of him lifting weights? That was so important.
Well, it's just they've already bought the pay-per-view. They already know what the fucking match is. You know?
But yeah, so the Shield versus Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Big Show was the first match of the night of the pay-per-view. What did we think of it?
It was okay. I thought it was okay. Not like amazing, but okay.
It was a decent opener.
I always liked watching the Shield.
Yeah, the Shield are good. We start off. Reigns. Yeah, Reigns starts off.
That was Randy Orton missing his fucking mark.
Yeah, Reigns starts off the match for the Shield, and Sheamus starts off for their team, and they're going into the corner, trading blows. It gets turned around. Reigns does the same. It's going back and forth between Reigns and Sheamus, and then Orton comes into a big pop at some point, and they double team Reigns, and it's basically them, working Reigns over until Rollins tags in. And then it's basically them working Rollins over for a bit, going back and forth with Rollins. And then Ambrose comes in, so they're kind of going with the formula here, other than Sheamus comes in, and Ambrose and Sheamus are at it. And then Big Show tags himself in, doesn't he, at some point?
Yeah. because no one's tagging him.
Yeah, the whole point of this is the story of this is that Randy Orton and Sheamus don't trust Big Show because they've both had a past with Big Show, obviously. So they're not tagging Big Show in, and Big Show's getting frustrated as all hell. So at one point he just has enough of it, and he tags himself in, and he's going in and he's, tearing up the place, and, he's overpowering people and doing what Big Show usually does. And then...
But Big Show was actually in peril for a lot of that, which I was quite interested in, because Big Show was selling really well.
Yeah, it starts off as, Show usually would, and then the whole, Shield get one up on him, and then he starts basically,
Yeah, the whole 3-on-1 mentality thing.
Yeah, the numbers game catches up with him. And, it was good ring psychology for the opening match, definitely. And
I think this was the perfect choice as the match to, get the crowd riled up and stuff.
Definitely. The Shield eventually used the numbers game to keep Show down in the corner with a bunch of quick tags. Reigns is in to keep Show on the mat. Show overpowers him, but then Rollins comes in to knock Orton off, and then Sheamus tags in, and we're getting tag team chaos. Eventually, Ambrose is coming in, but he gets knocked down by Sheamus. Sheamus is on a roll. And then all three of them eventually get Sheamus alone in the ring and go for a triple powerbomb, but Show spears them all and makes the save. Sheamus goes to tag Show, but Orton steals the tag and unloads on Ambrose, and then that's basically when Show loses his shit. And Orton is taking the pin and drops down for the RKO. Rollins springboard in, but Orton catches him in midair for the RKO. The RKO out of nowhere. And just as it looks, it's about to come in, Show comes in, and is it Show who spears Orton, or is it Reigns?
Reigns spears Orton, wins the match, and then Show comes in and basically beats up Sheamus and then beats up Orton. That's
it, yeah. Reigns comes in and spears Orton while the referee isn't looking. Ambrose gets the pin, and after the match, the Shield celebrated before exiting through the crowd.
Because he didn't actually do anything until the match was over.
Exactly, and Big Show asks Orton what happened, and they start yelling at each other. And Sheamus comes in the ring, but Big Show just knocks him out, and then Show turns around and knocks Orton out, and there's some boos for Big Show as he walks back to the back. By the way, the entirety of WrestleMania, crowd was awesome.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania.
Well, they kind of died off at the second
up until the Triple H match.
I can even see the crowd loving the Triple H match, because to be fair, we love the Triple H match, but just for a different reason. We'll get to that when we get there.
to a degree, they also reacted a certain way to another certain match. But we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the crowd per match.
Yeah, we get the promo for one of the first of many video promos for John Cena vs. The Rock, and then just out of randomness, because we're in Jersey, they had to show us how Snooki's doing with her husband at ringside.
I gotta say, Snooki looks
that completely, and I'm glad.
I was gonna say Snooki looks slightly better when she isn't slathered in makeup and doesn't have the stupid huge ass bun. But she's still a bitch.
I still don't know who the fuck Snooki is.
You haven't seen Jersey Shore?
I was gonna say.
Thank your lucky stars you haven't.
I haven't seen Jersey Shore, but I know who Snooki is.
I was gonna say, Nathan, just think of how awful these people are at the show.
It's literally the show for douchebags.
It's only where's Essex or Geordie Shore.
It's like Geordie Shore, but in Jersey. And they're somehow more annoying than the people.
Jersey's kind of the armpit of the
you know how annoyed you are at the people in Geordie Shore?
Yeah. It's like that, but Americanized. Oh God.
Yeah, it's like that, but Americanized.
By God.
Yeah. So it was.
I know Jersey Shore came first, but
yeah. But for an opening match, it was decent. It's a good opening match. To be honest, I never expect much for an opening match in WrestleMania because it's the opening match of WrestleMania. You don't expect much, but no, that was a good one. And we go to a match that a lot of people, when I were reading reactions for it, a lot of people seem to hate this one. And that's Mark Henry versus Ryback. I actually like this.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, dude, a lot of people are not liking this one.
You know, it was pretty decent. It could have been
Honestly,
better.
I was expecting much worse. I think that's what it was.
I was thinking the same. I was
thinking this is gonna be a fucking awful match, but honestly, it was just.
Yeah, I predict. If you recall, I predicted this to be bad.
I thought this was going to be a bad match. Maybe that's why I came out liking it. But a lot of people did not like the outcome of this. I don't know why.
Well, I guess not liking the way it ended.
Well, not just the ending, but just the match in general, and the outcome kind of pissed him off even more.
Yeah, I didn't like the ending of this match.
I didn't like the ending.
It was just like Mark Henry, big strong dude. Ryback, big strong dude. What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big man match, definitely. You know,
All big man matches are slow, and honestly, for a big man match, this was actually quite, well paced.
it was a well-paced big man matches, which is very rare. Big man matches are usually, yes, very slow, and it did start off that way. It did start off very slow. They're having words and they're colliding with each other again and again, and neither budge. Ryback.
Yeah, honestly, this match could have been as bad as Lesnar versus Goldberg.
It could have been. It wasn't. Thank God.
Yeah.
Ryback's beating his chest, and they keep colliding against each other until Henry hits him with the right hand. Ryback goes for one of his own, and they're trading fists. Ryback's going for his clotheslines, hits two, but Henry stops the third, and he scoops Ryback up for a big power slam. Only gets a 1 count. Then eventually Ryback gets his own momentum, and they're trading off momentum with one each other. They're clashing together. It's a big man match. It's very hard not. If you've seen one big man match, you've usually seen them all.
Yeah.
But the way it ends, and they come into like into a bear hug war at one point, don't like
yeah.
a bear hug war. Like, Mark Henry goes for one of his bear hugs, then Ryback...
I
Come
love
here,
you.
let me give you a big hug.
I love you, Rabbitback.
Mark goes for one of his bear hugs, breaks it to go and work on the ribs some more, and he's wasting some time, and then Ryback makes it back and applies his own bear hug. Henry reverses it, gets a big scoop slam, and then goes for his bear hug. They were going for like a bear hug war, and Ryback eventually goes for the clothesline in the corner. Gets the feed me more chant going as he hits it. He goes to shell shock, and as he lifts up Mark Henry on the grabs the top rope and falls down hard and basically crushes him with his own weight, and gets the
He won by being fat. Is the way I
he won by being fat.
That's amazing.
Do you think that was a botch?
No,
No.
No, that was how it was meant to end.
that was
You can
supposed to
tell
happen.
that's how it's meant to end.
You can tell.
But one thing that pissed me off is
That was-
Ryback no-sold it. Like after the pin.
Yeah,
he
like,
did.
after the match, the referee calls for trainers to come and check on Ryback. So usually when
And-
the ref calls for trainers, oh God, he's hurt. No. Henry comes back into the ring and tells everyone to get out to let Ryback suffer. He turns around to do a spine buster from Ryback, and instead Ryback nails a big shell shock, and we all get
Ryback does a seriously bad spine buster as well.
Yeah, he does a really bad.
That thing's terrible.
I will say it was cool. It's kind of cool to see Ryback actually be able to do the shell shock, but it kind of lost something due to the fact that he was able to just spring back
I
up.
would have preferred if he'd done that shell shock during the match and then Henry'd kicked out.
Exactly.
And he went for
That's
another
what
one and then he grabbed the ropes type of thing.
That's what
It's
I
like, I'm
wanted
not
to
falling
see.
dead again.
Yeah.
But it's like, what was the point? Like, okay,
Just-
when
You got crushed by a 400-pound man. At least act like it.
at least act like, when the referee's calling out for trainers, that's the moment to sell. I'm sorry. That is when you need to sell. It's because, oh God, the trainers are coming out. We're supposed to believe this guy's hurt. Oh no, wait, never mind, shell shock.
Yeah, I always hit the ending where it's like,
shock like
I
corners.
always hit the ending where like, they lose the match in a concise fashion and then they just get up. It's like, if you
Yeah,
could have just
that's-
got up then, you could have just kept going in the match. You know what I mean?
So the ending and the
That's the
aftermath.
type of thing that Cena does.
Yeah,
you know?
the ending and the aftermath of the match I didn't like,
Well,
But the
Cena does it regardless if he's winning or losing.
The match itself was pretty good for considering it was a Ryback match, and if anyone has not gathered, we're not fans of Ryback. We're not at all.
He's strong, but
No.
that's about it. He has
He's-
really sloppy form.
Like, Mark Henry's strong, and it took him 15 years to get the recognition he deserved.
Well, the thing that I found with WWE is that I'm kind of the same with everything, but I don't like the sort of the company guys.
No.
With WWE especially, and Ryback is most definitely a company guy.
You can kind of
the
tell
Rocks,
that
the
he got
Cenas,
in
I
his
can't stand
place
any of
because-
them.
You can tell he got in his place because someone wanted him there,
Yeah.
even though he's not that great.
Guys, I mean, he was fired previously from WWE, and they could have just said, well, that's like a flash in the pan right there, oh well. But when he got back in, obviously, he was determined, fair enough, and that's, something you don't want to get fired again. This is your second chance to make it big. You want to make it big. So he probably became a company guy because of that.
Mm. I mean, even
he said
before-
himself.
Yeah, before I was watching WrestleMania, though, I was listening to some interviews, like pre-WrestleMania interviews with on Peter Rosenberg's channel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Ryback had there was an interview with him, and he's definitely a company guy.
Yeah, he said he doesn't want to be the next Cena. He wants to be the guy above Cena.
Well, everyone says that. I mean, Daniel Bryan said that. So
Yeah, but the idea of Ryback being...
But Ryback doesn't mind doing it just by he
I
doesn't
can
want to do
see-
it with skill type of thing,
I can see a guy saying, I want to be the next top. I want to be the next Cena, but I'm willing to fight for it.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna work. I'm not gonna. I don't want you to just hand it to me. I want to fight. I'm gonna prove that I deserve it.
It seems like Ryback's going to get it just handed to him, which just sucks balls. Because you know what? At least Cena earned the spot he's in.
Yeah,
No, he didn't.
No,
Well,
he
no,
did. He
no,
did.
well,
He never did.
He did.
No, he didn't.
He did earn it.
He did earn it.
The only reason he earned it is because he worked. He's willing to work as many days as they want him to, and because he's marketable. That's it.
Well, again,
No, he's.
no, hold on.
Look, John Cena is one of the hardest working people I've ever known.
Yeah, one of your points was he was willing to work as many days as they wanted him to. Yeah, that's actually a good thing.
I'm not saying it isn't.
I don't know.
I'm just saying he
But,
doesn't.
but I do have to say though, he did start out strong. He did start out by nearly beating Kurt Angle.
He earned it, dude. I'm sorry.
Which, yeah, but that's where it kind of annoys me a bit, where they're talking about, like there was that interview with him and Dolph Ziggler, and he was like, "Oh, Dolph, you've been here about as long as me, but where have you been?" It was like, Dolph Ziggler didn't start out as strong as you did,
Yeah.
Well,
so
he didn't.
did earn it,
My
but
my
sometime.
point is, he didn't deserve that. In my opinion, he didn't deserve the push he got.
that's fair enough, but I think
I don't think anyone deserves that kind of push. And no matter how good a workhorse they are, there is more than one guy in a company.
Yeah, there's more than one guy in a company, I see that. But I think he deserved the top of the company position when he got it. Now I don't know, but when he got it, yeah, he deserved it then. But anyway, we go to the announcers playing with some toys from Mattel before introducing a video to announce WWE will be a founding
Of
partner.
course, shill our merchandise on the show.
Are you fucking kidding me? You could have had a match during that time, and with all of these video packages. Instead you've got grown men playing with fucking dolls.
Well, but they're doing it to announce that they're going to be the founding partner for the Special Olympics. I mean,
Well,
you can tell.
okay,
It's like,
look.
look at these new toys from Mattel. Oh, and by the way, we're also helping out the Special Olympics. But even though it is just an end to it's like the means to an end, they're still helping out a good cause.
I know they're helping out a good cause, but what I'm saying is, the focus should be on the Special Olympics, not the toys.
Oh, I see.
Or-
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous that they've got grown men like respected like journalists, well, ex-respected journalists, and Hall of Famers playing with fucking toys. It's embarrassing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you're bumping matches off the card.
I saw it as a means to an end. They're helping out the Special Olympics.
This was another one of those segments where it was like, they could have made this like half as long as it could as this, and could have had another long match. It's like people have bought the pay-per-view. Don't be so cheap.
It's the Special Olympics. I can't complain about them wanting to help that out.
Well, I need a piss, so I'm going to be back in a sec.
Okay, well, we see some...
As I've said before, it's like the concerts, the constant unnecessary video, the extra video packages that don't need to be there. That's deliberate. That's a deliberate waste of of our time that could be spent better.
So yeah, we see some Special Olympic athletes out on the stage with organization officials, and Stephanie McMahon and the new Jersey governor, Christie, come out and they talk about the Special Olympics and how they're going to be the founding partner for the Special Olympics. So yay. Then they air a video for the contest to win WrestleMania 30 tickets, which is going to be in New Orleans. I don't have a problem with this, but apparently some people do.
I don't understand.
Honestly, I guess the only reason why I don't really like that it's in New Orleans is probably just the fact that it's an anniversary, so I always thought Madison Square Garden. Because that's where it started, I think.
But people have legitimate reasons why. It's a legitimate and sound reason why they just can't. With the amount of audience that WWE draws, there's no way they can have it in Madison Square.
They need to increase the capacity of Madison Square Garden.
Well, I don't
really think there's anything wrong with being in New Orleans.
I disagree with that. They could charge $1,000 a ticket and sell out the Madison Square Garden still.
Yeah.
They don't need.
Well, that's still selling out a stadium that's only 20,000 people.
Yeah, but it's the 30th anniversary. It could be one of the most important WrestleManias ever. Almost just, but that instead of going back to their roots, which is what they should be doing, they're going to some fucking. Where is it going again? I don't even know. Just another big Superdome.
They're going to the New Orleans Superdome, I think. I would imagine. Isn't that where it is? I know it's in New Orleans, but I'm assuming it would be in the Superdome where the Saints play. I can't think of anywhere else they would put it.
I just know that they're in New Orleans, but I imagine it's going to be in the Superdome.
But they could just have it in Madison Square Gardens and then just charge more. It's not that difficult.
Well, or they could spend less money on fucking pyros. Jesus Christ, the pyros.
So much pyro.
So much pyro in this show. I don't mind. Fireworks show.
Was
pretty,
so
but fucking hell. How much money did you blow on those?
I just like to think that there's just like a crazy guy with goggles and welding gloves that just sort of runs around with explosives.
Like that Muppet with the TNT.
Yeah.
So we go to the tag team match for the tag team title match. It's Dolph Ziggler and Ziggy, and the Biggie versus Kane and Daniel Bryan. And what did we think of this?
This is a great match.
It was a very good match. But
okay, I guess I shouldn't say a great. I get maybe not great, but it was good. It was pretty damn good.
What match are we talking about again?
Ziggler and Big E versus Kane and D-Bry.
Everyone did what they were supposed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was too safe a match. I would have preferred to see some more spots in it.
Like Ziggler was Ziggler. Big E did decent power wrestling.
I do like that they referenced the 18 seconds thing. Like, it starts things off. D-Bry starts things off with Ziggler, and Ziggler has AJ come to the apron for a kiss, like Bryan did last year. And Ziggler turns around to a kick to the head to Bryan and gets a close 2 count, and Ziggler escapes to the floor. That was obviously referencing the 18 seconds.
Mm.
Ryan runs and nails a suicide dive on the outside, and it's D-Bry being D-Bry. I can never complain about D-Bry's wrestling. It's fucking awesome. And he's going against Dolph Ziggler,
Yes.
who's fucking awesome.
But again, I thought it was just too safe a match.
It was a bit safe, but I don't really know how it was too safe.
I mean,
Yeah,
they could have done more, is what I mean.
Well, each match had time constraints because they wanted the main events to have as much time as they wanted.
I know.
Well, not the main events. I'm sorry, let me reword that. They wanted Cena and Rock to have as much time as they wanted.
But they already kicked a match from the card.
Yeah, and they still found out that they didn't have enough time. Well, they did have enough time because
They had about 50 video packages of Cena versus Rock.
50 fucking video packages. Yeah, fair enough. But
I don't like harping on it, but it really does need to be harped on because it happened that often.
I get your point. But yeah, Ziggler tags in Big E, Bryan tags in Kane, and then we get the big men facing off against each other. And there was a really good spot where like Big E catches Kane in midair and hits a knee to his back.
Yeah, the 3 knees.
The 3 knees.
Oh yeah.
That's one of his signatures.
Yeah, that was a really good spot there. Thinking of more highlights because there's that spot with Big E.
But it was a very good debut for Big E though.
It was a good debut for Big E. Yeah, I mean his first match is on WrestleMania. You can't really complain about that.
Yeah,
That's
match.
two. So that's
two debut matches.
yeah. That's like, I will say, we've complained about WWE taking little risk, but that's a pretty damn big risk to trust someone that much to have basically their very first match on WrestleMania. That shows a huge amount of trust. It's like just unheard of.
Mm.
They've had debuts at WrestleMania before, haven't they?
I'm sure
They've
we
had
have,
them
but
before, but I don't know whether they've had 2 in the same night.
well, that and the fact that I can't remember the last time. It's been a long time since we've seen someone like get a debut match at WrestleMania. I think, you know.
Eventually we get to a point where Big E's grabbing Kane, but has his finisher blocked. Kane tosses Big E to the floor. Bryan runs and hits a knee to the face, and Ziggler nails Kane from behind for a 2 count. AJ Styles...
I gotta say, my favorite spot was when Dolph did, I can't remember, Dolph did something on the outside, and then Kane started walking towards him, and then Big E just threw Daniel Bryan at him.
Oh no, that was on Raw.
Oh, was it? Fuck. God, my mind.
It was on Raw.
Yeah,
AJ slides the briefcase in and distracts.
I can't help it. They've got a singles match with the exact same guys in just after the original match. You know.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're
After
saying.
the
But
first attack match.
that was Raw. Yeah.
Ah.
AJ slides the briefcase in and distracts the referee. Ziggler misses the case shot and gets choke slammed. And Bryan tags in and nails the headbutt from the top on Ziggler for the win. And Kane and D-Bry retain. And after the match, we get replays, and Bryan gets the fans to do a big yes chant.
Oh God, that was the best. That was awesome. Just everyone.
Yeah, that was the biggest yes chant I've seen. Okay, it wasn't as big as last year's WrestleMania.
It wasn't as big as that Raw after last year's WrestleMania, where like the fans were chanting yes as they were leaving the arena.
Yeah, that was great. God, Daniel Bryan's so over. It's ridiculous.
Well, Fandango's going over this year, it seems. Fucking hell. People love Fandango.
I love Fandango.
I fucking love Fandango. He somehow made one of the silliest gimmicks you could ever think of work. And,
that's him, dude. He's made silly gimmicks work in the past.
Speaking of Fandango, we get Fandango versus Chris Jericho.
I wanted to actually, before I move on, I wanted to say that I really wanted. I honestly wanted Ziggy and Langston to win just because I don't. Where where do we? Do,
I know
where,
exactly where we're going, but we'll save that for Raw.
Yeah, I just didn't see where they were moving on.
It's hinted at on Raw, so I'm gonna. We should just leave that there for now.
It's hinted at on Raw, yeah, and no, but I'm kind of happy that Debray and Kane won because I just have this fear that as soon when the day happens that they're gonna lose the titles, because nobody keeps their titles forever. But when that day comes that they lose the tag team titles, those titles are just gonna start gathering dust again and just become a hot potato that gets thrown around a non-existent division.
I don't know. It's got a promising next champions look to it to me.
It's promising, but WWE's got a track record here when it comes to the tag team division.
I know, but I'm going to try and be optimistic for once.
Yeah, I'm going to be optimistic too, because, I'm going to say this now, people listening. Up until WrestleMania, I'd stopped watching wrestling. After WrestleMania and after the Raw afterwards, I'm watching again.
This is why the C Show was on such a long thing, is because these guys all stopped watching wrestling.
Yeah, we stopped.
I stayed with it, man.
I'm still watching. I'm going back to watching it now, because yeah.
Well, the very basic reason we stopped watching it, I think the biggest reason I stopped watching it is I just didn't want to go. I said I didn't want to watch is because I just did not want to go through the whole Rock Cena feud again. That was the biggest thing.
The reason for me is just every now and then I'll just get tired of it. It's like, well, what feuds are there on Raw right now? Well, we got Cena and Rock. Nah, don't really want to see that. They got some potentially good feuds, but are they really going to build it properly? I don't know. And, I mean,
yeah. Well, let's get back to WrestleMania, huh?
Yeah, but
give the people what they want, which is us to finish the show as quickly as possible.
But no, I'm watching again, and yeah, sure, yeah. But Fandango versus Chris Jericho was a good debut right up until the shitty ending.
Yeah, I think Fandango. I love
it
Fandango's
wasn't as good
entrance.
as it could have. It wasn't. Again, it was this. Well, this I think more than the Mark Henry the Henry Ryback match was like a match where it was like wasted potential because they made it
I
into.
think they needed to give Fandango a bit more time to shine.
Well, it was more that and it wasn't just that. It was the fact that it wasn't It was just mostly a Jericho squashing Fandango.
It mostly was Jericho getting the upper hand. I love Fandango's entrance, by the way, that they did here. They had all the salsa dancers, and
yes,
came Fandango. And speaking of WWE wasting money on fireworks, the amount of fireworks they got for Jericho was woo. Huge fireworks display over the stadium for his entrance.
Well, it's WrestleMania, they're always going to make a show of it.
I know, but it's just like, fucking hell. Ooh, that just reminds me of WCW levels of pyro,
WCW didn't have that much pyro. They just had a shitload at the beginning.
Yeah, good point. A shitload at the beginning.
And then they were like, "Oh, that's our budget gone."
And you are right. It was a majority. It was mainly.
Yeah, they usually it's like they for the most part WWE actually doesn't have that much pyro. They just kind of save it. It's like they save it for WrestleMania.
Good point, but and you are right. This was mainly a Jericho match. At some point, though, Jericho, I think it might have been cut open the hard way. It could have been bladed, but he got cut above the nose. I don't know how that happened, how he got cut. I was looking through that match, and I'm like, where is it that he got a...
I think it was from that kick at the, Fandango did from the outside.
Oh, the springboard?
Yeah. Because that was the only, real big shot Fandango had got in.
Yeah, that was the main thing for Fandango is Jericho slaps Fandango around and throws him out the ring, and he comes back in and catches Jericho with a kick off a springboard, and then when he finally turns things around, he gets a 2 count, and right hands, and Jericho strikes a pose over him, gets the headlock on him, and you see the cut above the nose. Yeah, that was probably the kick that did that. Yeah, good point. Jericho tries to fight back, but Fandango's keeping control. And I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Fuck you. Back and forth, and
It's fun.
Da.
Go.
Jericho eventually gets back into, momentum, nails a double axe handle. At some point, nails a crossbody from the top, and I fucking love high flying when it happens. It looks beautiful as hell. And Fandango turns it around, sends Jericho shoulder first into the ring post. That looked like it fucking hurt. Eventually, though, the way it ends is Jericho misses a lion salt. He goes for the walls of Jericho. He sells like a knee injury. He's like wobbling around a bit. Fandango rolls him up for the win. And Fandango wins off of a roll-up. And after the match, Fandango exits with his dancers as Jericho looks on from the ring, and we go to replays. I was perfectly fine with this match, again, up until the end. I don't like the win from the roll-up.
Don't do roll-ups at WrestleMania.
Especially not at WrestleMania, you know?
I never liked the roll-up win. It's just, okay.
No, I can buy a roll up when it's like the guy's just being beaten, really beaten.
Well, in this case, I can kind of forgive it because they are continuing this feud.
And I will say he was getting beaten on most of the match, but still, it's not like it was like a power wrestler or something where
like,
he
even when a heel does the roll-up win and like they grab the tights and that, I mean, I'm supposed to believe that, because he grabbed the tights, it's less things like that, and he kind of cheated that way, but I just never liked the roll. That's just me, never liked it at all. I think it's a cheap win. It's a win's a win in the end. I just think it's a cheap ending to a match. But Fandango won in the end, and yay, awesomeness. I like Fandango. Johnny C, don't have any complaints against Johnny C.
I don't know why, but whenever his theme song plays, I want to have a
I will say that, honestly, to me, the guy that kind of made it okay to do roll-ups to me was Mysterio, for the most part.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, yeah, Johnny C, he just somehow, he finds a way to make the stupidest gimmicks work.
Every single gimmick he's had, he's made work. He's
made it work, so awesomeness.
Like I said, whenever his song plays, I want to have a coffee break.
I know, that Fandango's song is... Fans seem to love his song. After the so we get a look back at The Miz winning the IC title on the pre-show, and Cole hypes up the post-show and shows us another video for Rock vs. Cena. We go back inside MetLife, and then we see another video of Rock and Cena playing.
This is my problem with it. It was just, Rock versus Cena, have the commentary talk for a bit. Another video of Rock versus Cena match, Rock versus Cena commentary, Rock versus Cena, another video patch or something else, then back to Rock versus Cena. It was like It's
like you advertised it to be tonight, so let it happen tonight when it happens.
People bought the pay-per-view, for God's sake.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, P. Diddy comes out.
P. Diddy.
And he starts his musical performance, quotation marks, with a song. And I'm only reading these from the recap, because I have no fucking idea what these songs are called. Apparently, there's a version of Victory. It looks like he comes from under the stage. He gives a shout-out to New York and New Jersey. Says
he had the Gangrel entrance for some reason.
Yeah, he became a part of the Brood. He says this is the home of the wildest, craziest, loudest WWE fans in the world. After seeing what they were like on Monday Night Raw, I agree with you.
Well, my favourite part was where he went, let's see how we part the New York style, and then he just had everyone just sort of wave their hands slightly.
No, this is New York style. Oh, so you do the most generic party move ever. Okay.
Yeah,
everyone was just standing there kind of gently waving their hands.
You could.
I always loved the crowd pans for that because no one was doing it.
The only way you could have made that more generic was if you gave them all lighters to wave into the air.
Yeah, I love what Ali said about it. Apparently, what party consists of in New York, what party New York consists of putting your hand in the air and moving it slightly.
He does a verse from Mo Money, Mo Problems, and then All About the Benjamins. And then he gives a shout out to the victims of Hurricane Sandy. Good, again, no complaints about that. But then he does, I'm coming home, I'm coming home.
Also,
I
the
went-
lady who was doing
well-
the I coming home thing, it kind of sounded lip synced.
Look, at the same time, though, the show does need its bathroom break.
That song is just so fucking
I love
monotonous.
how they gave P. Diddy 8 minutes, but actually it was more like 5.
I'm coming home, I'm coming. It's not even got like a tune to it. It's just I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm
Hello,
coming.
world.
Coming home, and then I'll rap over it.
Yo, I'm black and shit.
And then Cole thanks Diddy for being WWE's global ambassador for their
Then he got
anti-bullying
attacked by a ferret. No, he didn't.
campaign, and then we get a video for that isn't actually Rockin' Cena. It's for the world title match, which is Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio, which is what happens next. And we're back inside MetLife, and Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter are out in the ring after driving a pit.
This is one thing I loved about WrestleMania was Zeb Coulter was in his usual like fishing way to things, but he also had a tie on. He's like, I'm dressing up for WrestleMania.
And then they drove the Patriot Mobile out to the ring, which was like a camouflage cart. And then Zeb takes the mic and rips New York City and various nationalities. He says real Americans aren't afraid to do something about the problem, and tonight Swagger will reclaim this country by becoming world heavyweight champion. And Swagger ends it with a "We the people."
I don't like how the
people.
fact that they're trying to be like, it's a racist gimmick, but they're kind of walking around it a little bit.
Well,
I guess he can't cut a promo about damn niggas or something, you know?
I think it's after the shit that happened with was it Rush Limbaugh? Oh, who was that other obnoxious radio host?
Don Imus?
Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck, that was it.
Alright.
After the shit with Glenn Beck, I think that's when they started kind of walking around it, because that asshole, even when it's obvious that the characters that they are saying what Glenn Beck is thinking. He made
But
it
they're
up.
saying exactly the same thing Glenn Beck is saying.
Yeah, and he was criticizing them for that, and he missed out, and he skipped out on a show, and they basically made that entire Raw he skipped out on the Let's Make Fun of Glenn Beck hour.
I like that though.
I wish I could have seen that Raw. I would have actually watched that one. I might go back and watch that one
That sounds amazing.
just to see them rip the shit out of Glenn Beck. But after that, it seemed that they kind of toned down on it a bit, just because they didn't want to put up with more shit like that. But ADR's music comes out, and it's the most Mexican entrance in the world.
There was
Isn't it?
Mexican flags all over the arena. There was the giant one in the background, and there was like Mexican flags flying in circles where the WrestleMania like little Titantrons would be. And it was just like, oh my god, it's so Mexican.
I mean, I ain't got a problem with Mexico, but I was like, damn, this entrance is really Mexican.
It's this
just like-
is Mexican.
This is extremely Mexican.
The only way that it could have been more Mexican is if he like came out on a donkey with like, in a poncho.
Wow, racist much?
What?
And someone would have fell asleep during
Wow.
Racist much?
That's not racist.
People in Mexico, they ride donkeys to work.
It's not racist when it's true.
They ride donkeys to work, don't they? They don't have them newfangled automobiles.
He should have came out in that Mexican supercar that Top Gear hates.
Well, they don't hate it. It's just sort of like unfinished.
They don't hate it. In fact, they started to like it, but
Yeah, they started to like it, but it was kind of shoddy build quality. But still, just
well, it's the first fucking supercar from Mexico, so yeah.
First car from Mexico, never mind supercar.
Swagger goes to the floor, but Del Rio hits with a big kick, and they're going back and forth. What did we think of this match? I don't know what to think of this.
I like this.
I thought
I thought it was
really
solid
good.
technical.
It was, well,
It was
I guess-
like- it was
it was
good.
good. It was good.
Like, Swagger and Del Rio, I wouldn't have thought those two would have worked well together, but they work really well together.
I think Swagger's actually starting to like get what a heel's supposed to do.
And he worked really well with Del Rio. Him and Del Rio worked.
Well, I think it's because he's got Dutch Mantell at his side, telling him how to, do it. Having
Right.
Dutch there is
No
a
fucking
real asset to him,
Yeah, having Dutch Mantell. Yeah,
Yeah, they showed surprising wrestling ability.
Yeah, it was really good technical wrestling. I love a technical wrestling match. I like this just for the technical wrestling alone. I'm thinking of highlights, and I can't really come up with any.
Well, it wasn't a spot fest. It
It
was.
wasn't a spot fest. It was a technical match. It was well-paced technical wrestling.
Yeah.
I think there was one highlight was just like, there was one point when it might have been the end when the amount of time it took Del Rio to lock him into the arm drag, it happened so fucking quick. It was like, holy shit, he locked that on fast. It was like a blur.
Yeah, it was just an all-around really good technical.
It was kind of weird. It was good but unremarkable at the same time.
Like, there was nothing that really jumped out at me. It was just like, this is really good technical wrestling, and that go watch the match. I mean, it ends with obviously with the cross arm breaker and Swagger taps out and ADR wins. But
There is a thing that was, I suppose, kind of stupid about it. It's like Swagger got like distracted and like completely seemed to forget the count was going on, and he was like, and then he was outside the ring and he's like 9, and then like, oh shit, and he runs right into the fucking arm breaker.
Yeah, that seemed to be the problem with most of the matches. Is they were good matches, but the problem I have with most of them, not all of them, but most of them, is they're not WrestleMania quality.
This should be like a really fucking good Raw.
Yeah.
It should be like a really good Raw, like, and maybe even a different pay-per-view. Like, this could be like your good first this could be a good pay-per-view. But WrestleMania, I don't know whether it's just high expectation. You just expect like really good classic matches, and this was a really good match. It was a really good technical match, but it wasn't.
I think the problem is, more than anything, what makes a good match isn't really technical wrestling. It's having a story to tell, and there really isn't much to most of these matches. There's no, like, there's not the only real like story to any of the matches was Triple H versus Lesnar and the Undertaker versus CM Punk, and those are the two best matches of the night, in my opinion. Just kind of show it really does show that.
I think if they all had longer time to work with it, these like mediocre, decent matches would have become better, and some of the good matches would have become like great matches. We'd have had more show-stealing matches. Yeah. But because of WWE's idea, well, no, we want Cena and Rock to get all the time that they want. They just kind of left everyone else in the dirt.
Yeah, they kind of fucked everyone over with that. Even
the point of WrestleMania is it's a spectacle, and everyone gets to put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 4-hour show. Cena and Rock had more than enough time for.
I was going to say that actually brings up a pretty big complaint I have for the next match.
Punk and Taker?
Yeah, and I actually have a complaint about it.
What is that rumbling in the background?
There's a garage opener under me, so the garage is opening and closing.
But I mean, my point is, you could have given Cena and Rock, like, let's just say the main event, you could have just given them like 20 minutes. Now, if they planned it out well, if they timed it well, let's say it was a.
Let's get to that when we get to Cena Rock, huh?
Okay. CM Punk versus The Undertaker. Match of the night, without a doubt.
Not by far. Probably match of the year already.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's your complaint about it, Ali?
It wasn't long enough, and the fact that it just never felt like it got taken to the point where Undertaker really struggled at all. So You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could
it
actually see that.
Like Undertaker beat decisively beat CM Punk and walked out under his own power. So
Yeah, it never got to the level that Undertaker Triple H got.
yeah, and it never got that far. It stopped halfway in.
And again, that's not really the fault of Punk or Taker. That's the fault of...
That's time restraints. They're both great wrestlers.
That's time restraints. They're both great wrestlers, and for the time they were given, they put on a hell of a match. I mean, like, first things first, that was awesome about this was the entrance. Both entrances were fucking awesome. Like, Living Colour comes out to perform Cult of Personality live.
And they're still fucking good.
They're still fucking good.
They're rocked, dude.
And, like, I know CM Punk's heel, but you gotta cheer for live Living Colour when they were fucking rocking it like that.
You know, the funny thing was, I was thinking, well, why did they have Pre-Diddy out when they could have just had Living Colour play a few more of their songs?
They could have just had, well, the problem with Living Colour is they're just kind of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
that's the only song people know from them.
Everyone just remembers Cult of Personality, and that's pretty much it.
I know, but even their unknown songs would have could like, you know, be fun live.
But even fucking today, yeah, Living Colour's still fucking rocking it, and that was an awesome. That was a nice little surprise. I was not expecting that. And then Undertaker's entrance. Now it's the same Taker entrance, but they add little things to it to just make it that bit more awesome.
Fucking metal entrance ever.
Like he comes
zombies.
He comes out and there's like all these like zombie. What we're supposed to believe they're zombies. All these hands like reaching up, trying to grab at his robes and like brushing their hands against his legs and that. Like like he's like lost souls and zombies and things like that. And then he gets his own little graphic for his name, and it's like thunder shooting across the screen, and it's like, oh,
oh shit, it's the Undertaker.
It's the Undertaker. It just added to the atmosphere that the Undertaker brings. Like
it just makes me think, what will WrestleMania be like when Undertaker's not there? Because it's not going to be the same.
One of the best things too was CM Punk's reaction to Taker's tricks.
Because usually the Undertaker's entrance, people are like, oh shit. Oh,
they're either oh shit or they just get really serious.
Yeah, and Punk, he was neither serious nor oh shit. He was just like, oh, come the fuck on, get in the ring.
Punk was just like, meh.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's just like, get in the ring. I want us to fight now. And yeah, Punk was all smarmy during the entrance, and then we just get...
It was fucking glorious.
We just get the match of the night. It's like some spots. There was the Macho Man elbow to the table. Table didn't break, the commentary table, because Punk didn't hit the elbow fully. I don't know whether that was planned that way or whether that was a botch in the table.
No, that was a botch.
It was a botch?
That's what got Punk injured.
I think that he just didn't get. He wasn't able to judge the distance. I think well enough.
Fair enough. It still made a good spot.
He didn't get a good enough clearance.
It still made a good spot, and Punk sold the hell out of the match. And some of that might have even been real if he injured himself. I don't know. But
I was saying, I just like the thing where he started out cocky, then he actually had to start getting serious about it.
Yeah. That's the thing with Punk, is like, I never know whether he's just selling really well or whether he's legit hurt. That's how well Punk can sell. It's like, you don't know whether he's legit hurt or whether he's just selling, like, oh. And that was the way I was with Punk. It's like, is he selling or is he, like, legitimately hurt right now?
Yeah, the thing is, if you land on the table, it's better if it breaks than it just stays
still. It's better if it breaks, yeah, because it softens the fall. But no, it stuck. It was a Japanese table. And then they had these awesome sequences.
It was Randy Orton's table.
They had the awesome sequences where like Punk would hit the GTS, Taker went back into the ropes and then came back with a tombstone. Punk would call for the GTS, but Taker slides out of it and he hits the choke slam. At some point, Taker goes for Heyman. Does he actually end up getting Heyman in the end? I don't know. I can't remember. I know he goes for it. I know he tries to die for Heyman.
No, he didn't.
Heyman gets out of the way.
And didn't get touched.
No, I didn't think so.
Well, he grabbed Heyman. He got him in like he grabbed his throat, but he never like was able to like
One of my favorite bits was when
That was actually one of my favorite moments. Though, was like just like, oh shit, Paul Heyman's gonna get it.
I think one of my favorite bits was when Punk locked him in the Anaconda Vice and Undertaker just started staring at him.
Yeah, I love that. Like,
That was one of the best.
There
parts.
was one. I'm sorry. That particular part pissed me off. Not because of Punk or Taker, because of the fucking cameraman didn't go around in the other direction, so we couldn't. It was a fucking horrible camera angle.
and like when Punk's doing...
Horrible camera angle.
No, you're thinking of when Taker had the Hell's Gate on. When Punk's doing the Anaconda Vice.
No, that's not. No, that is not what I'm thinking. I am honestly thinking of the Hell's Gate just because the shot was from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're thinking of the Hell's Gate. We're talking about the Anaconda Vice when Punk got the Anaconda Vice.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
No, that's different, dude.
No.
Rocktan, you don't need to yell.
Rockton, that's a different point in the match. The Hell's Gate.
No, it's not. No, it's not, dude. I'm telling you.
The part where Taker's like staring at Punk and just stands up and pulls him up and chokes.
Well, I mean, before that happens, when
Taker's got the Hell's Gate on, yeah, the cameraman doesn't.
No. Fucking god. Move on.
When Punk has him in the Anaconda Vice, before he sits up, the camera is pointed at Punk's back, so we can't. It's hard to actually tell. It's actually kind of hard to tell he's actually doing the Vice in the first place.
Okay, okay. Whatever. I thought it was Hell's Gate that happened on, but okay. Whatever.
The Hell's Gate transitioned in the Anaconda Vice.
Okay, whatever.
It was the same spot, really.
I'm not gonna get mad about it. Okay. So, yeah. Then there's another transition where Taker goes for Tombstone. Punk reverses it, tries to go for the GTS. Taker reverses it, then hits with the Tombstone. And although then there was a point where we thought Taker was going to go for the last ride to the commentary table, but Punk managed to reverse that.
I was like going, yes, do it.
But in the end, we get that sequence where Taker fights out of a GTS, Punk counters a Tombstone. He goes for the GTS again, but it's blocked. Taker turns it into a Tombstone and nails it right in the middle of the ring.
To me, what this match actually felt like was... It kind of felt like it ended with unfinished business type of thing.
Yeah. And the way it was on
if you think about it, the last 4 Undertaker matches, Undertaker versus Shawn twice, and then Undertaker versus Triple H twice. Surely this means it's going to be Undertaker Punk twice.
It might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally...
It's just like the match kind of missed its third leg.
And this is going to be a little spoiler, but like on Raw this week, Paul Heyman simply said Punk's going to talk about it next week. So I don't know.
Out of kayfabe, Punk's actually taking a break because he's injured.
I know.
So they're just going to kind of keep him being a heel by having saying, "Oh, he's just going to come next week." Oh, but he's going to come next week.
Yeah, I wanted. I don't know. You might have gone past it already, but I wanted to mention I thought it was just awesome. One of my favorite spots was when Punk hit him with the GTS, but I think I think he may have not actually caught him full on because Taker just like didn't even sell it and just immediately went into the Tombstone.
Yeah, no, what happened there was he hits the GTS, but what happens is like Taker goes into the ropes.
Right.
And he uses the ropes, and he basically does what Taker does and no sells, because that's what Taker does.
At WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah, I thought it could have also been a case that maybe Punk didn't really catch him with it.
I might be the case too. But
there's always one thing that might have happened. Punk might have got hurt, and they might have had to wrap it up a little early.
From what I've heard, people were actually really impressed that he managed to he didn't slow down the pace of the match at the end when he got injured.
Yeah, but he probably did kind of relay to Undertaker that they might have to wrap it up.
I don't know whether it was a case of
because it kind of sped up after that spot, and it just kind of ended quickly.
I don't know what the case was, whether it was Punk being injured and he had to wrap it up early, or whether it was time constraints. But either way, the match probably wouldn't have gone on longer than it did anyway. Because again, we want more time for Rock and Cena.
Honestly, that'd be really weird if they actually decided to go like 20 minutes of Rocket Cena, but because of the match ending early, they had to pad it.
I don't know.
That'd suck, though. Especially because like
would
half
suck.
of the Rock Cena match was them doing nothing.
And after this, the crowd kind of starts to get tired.
Yeah, they're
Because you
tired.
can't really follow that match.
Honestly, the crowd was fucking wild during this match. Like, this was the Taker matches. The crowd's usually wild. This was like the wildest crowd I've heard in a Taker match for a while. Like, they weren't even this wild in Taker vs. Triple H, or Taker vs. Shawn.
Yeah, well, it just shows how over Punk is, isn't it?
I think Punk proved that he could fucking top Rock and Cena.
But by far, there's no comparison.
Like, I hope that isn't Taker's last match, because, I mean, the way Raw is right now, it didn't look like it's going to be, but...
I don't think it is.
Was this possibly Taker's last WrestleMania? Not his last match, but his last WrestleMania?
No, I think he's going to have one last one.
And you think it's going to be against Punk again?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I'd like that. I'd like them to have another match and have them give it more time to it.
Oh, apparently Rock is really injured. Wow.
Yeah, Rock really is injured, dude.
Wow. He tore his abdomen muscles off the bone.
Yeah.
I want to know how.
Who did?
Rock.
Rock. Oh, damn.
Again, I want to know how that
Considering
match...
how he continued wrestling, though.
Considering how safe that match was as well. Then we get replays after the match. The Undertaker poses and drops to the urn, and he gets his urn back, and it looks like he might be... It does look for a while like he's, like, tearing up. Like, tears running down his face. I don't know whether he's, like, thinking about Colbert, or whether those are, like, fake tears. I don't know. I don't know how good of an actor Taker is. Because Taker's always been able to pull off the stoic kind of character. You never know how good of an actor Taker is because of the whole stoic, monotone thing that he's always had to pull off. Except for the American badass gimmick, but even then, that wasn't the kind of thing that called for a guy to cry. So I don't know whether those were real. Again, they're probably real tears. I imagine so, with the emotion that went into it and everything, and Paul Bearer and all that. I imagine, yeah. And he grabs the urn and leaves the ring as the fans cheer, and he, big 21-0 flashes on the big screen, and
then he has his own Breakfast Club moment where he lifts his hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't you forget about me. So, then we get another promo for Rock and Cena.
which one was this one? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think this was the one where Cena was just lifting weights.
The entire time he was just lifting weights.
The entire time he's just lifting weights. And they're playing I'm Coming Home while he's lifting weights.
Oh, God.
I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. You can sing this sing it too bad. I'm coming home.
Hi.
Normally when I'm watching like WrestleMania or something, I'm not watching it live, so I can just skip past all that. Actually having to watch all this shit just made me go insane.
Yeah, people pay to watch that stuff, dude.
God.
And then we get Triple H versus Brock Lesnar, aka funniest match of the goddamn night. Oh, this match was hilarious. The match of funny faces and just Brock Lesnar made
Brock
this
Lesnar
match.
acted like a fucking ape the entire match.
Lesnar, I forget what point it was in the match. I know they were outside by the table, and at some point, Brock Lesnar just lets out this loud ape-like roar. And we just all burst into laughter. It just goes.
Like,
I think the
camera
best
zoomed into
part
his
of that
face.
was that we were all think the best part of that was that we were all like, slightly out from each other. So, you just heard like it was just like Ali burst out laughing, then like, Rocktown burst out laughing, then Riddler burst out laughing, then about 5 seconds later I burst out laughing.
It's just like also Triple H got completely white shit for the match.
And then that just ruined the entire seriousness.
I remember Lesnar slammed Triple H to the table that Punk didn't break, and then as a reaction, he was just like,
and then after that, we just could not take that match seriously.
Well, honestly, I could still take the match seriously.
Oh, I couldn't, dude. I was still laughing because every now and then he'd do it again. Like he got Triple H up on the fucking turnbuckle.
Give it, John!
And then, like, during a submission, the camera just closes up on Brock Lesnar with this retarded face that he's pulling.
Just, like, after that face, it's just they kept zooming into his face to see his reactions on shit. And, like, when he was in a submission, I think it was the Kimura, and Lesnar was just like, yeah.
Could not take it seriously. And then all the while, you got
also, when Triple H walked in with, like, white stuff on him, like, cut to Brock Lesnar's face, and he was just like, the fuck?
What the fuck was that? Like, what did, like, first of all...
I like to think it was what Mega Fighter said, which was just cocaine. Copious amounts of cocaine.
First of all, like, the set piece that Triple H has for his entrance, it's awesome. It's like the undead Skeleton King thing, it's awesome. And then, but he comes out, and you see, like, he's, like, wiping stuff off of him. He's trying to get the shit off of him. What the fuck?
It's cocaine, I'm telling you.
There's just white powder all over his body.
It's like someone just sprayed shaving cream on him or something.
It's like, and our theories are like, what, did he, like, run into, like, a fire extinguisher before the match? Like, what the fuck? Did he just, like, dive into a bath of cocaine? What the fuck? What the fuck is it? And then, like...
I loved how during the water thing segment, he tried to, like, kind of clean himself off while he did it.
Yeah, he kind of used the water to clean it off. All I know is, I have no idea what it was. I just know he managed to get it off by the time that he finished his entrance. What? I don't know what the fuck it was. I honestly God think he just, like, had a run-in with, like, a fire extinguisher or something. But, yeah, that was weird. And then, just during the match, we had the silly faces of Brock Lesnar, we had the April, and then we had the silly faces of Triple H. We had overselling by Shawn Michaels. I fucking love Shawn Michaels. Oh, yeah. We got a super kick, which I'm so happy. We got to see a super kick. And then eventually we got a pedigree on steel steps, which we could see a mile away. It was very predictable, this match.
Well, it's one of those matches where you know exactly how it's going to go, but actually, to be honest, it went better than I thought it would.
I gotta say, from Nathan's new picture, I love how Brock Lesnar's face sticks about 8 inches from the top of his head.
Yeah, to be fair, this match was definitely better than the one they had last year, and
by far.
Definitely
by far. I mean, Brock actually did some real wrestling instead of just doing brawling and keep and continuously locking on the Kimura the whole time.
Oh, this is like, and like Lesnar, I'm sorry, he was a bit retarded in this match because like at one point Triple H managed to get the Kimura lock on Lesnar, and he's on the steps, and Lesnar like lifts him up.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, Lesnar lifts him up and like slams him on the steps, and instead of moving out the way, he's like, oh, thank God, he's done.
I love that. Just thank God. Thank God it's over. Oh my God, it's my God again!
And then he did it again and again.
And then he slammed him again, and it was like, oh thank God. Like, oh God, put it on again, stop it, oh, pain!
It's like every time Lesnar like managed to slam him into the steps and get free of the Kimura, he forgot, he thought, I should move, no, I'm just gonna stay
Kimura again!
Oh, Kimura again! I didn't see that coming,
Brock Lesnar just looked stupid the entire match.
Yeah. The entire match.
I think that's kind of part of his character, is him being like just basically.
I just love the fact that he's portraying himself as a big dumb brute. Because he
According to Paul Heyman, he's like most wrestling characters are them times 1,000. Brock Lesnar's them divided by 1,000. So, yeah.
So Brock Lesnar's probably like really smart, but he makes himself a big dumb brute.
No, I mean like he's he's basically his character, but more over the top.
Oh.
I thought Brock Lesnar was really modest and lived like on a farm in Minnesota or something.
He said there's a reason why Brock isn't allowed to do interviews.
Fair enough. But yeah, it ends with Triple H doing the pedigree on the steel steps. Now this is by Triple H wins. This is by far better than last year's. It's hilarious. For one thing, I actually enjoyed it.
The match wasn't bad. It was like it was an alright match, but
it was
Lesnar was hilarious.
It was just hilarious, and I don't know why people have a problem with this match because Triple H won.
Well, it was following up Punk versus Undertaker.
It was following up Punk versus Undertaker.
I think everyone was just burned out.
I don't know whether it's just Lesnar marks, but people are like, "Oh, Lesnar should have won. Lesnar looks weak now." And I'm like,
I think the reason why they wanted Lesnar to win is because Triple H is on the downturn, and they were kind of thinking Lesnar's younger.
It made sense to me because literally Lesnar did everything except kill Triple H's parents in that story. Triple H kind of had to win.
Yeah. It would have been awesome.
Well, not just that. I'm sorry, but Lesnar has no business being the one to end Triple H's career in the first place.
Exactly.
It's like how people keep saying.
And I would have been surprised. I would have been surprised that Trips would have actually let him win. Said, "Yeah, you're winning this match."
So we go on. The Rock versus Cena 2.
Yay.
Yep.
This was the match of the night right here.
This was the match of the freaking year right here.
This was the match of the year. So, no one bought into this match. Last year, people were a bit hyped because they hadn't seen it before. This year, they knew what was coming.
People were leaving the fucking arena.
Exactly. That was actually the funniest part, just people started walking.
People might think we're just bullshitting, or we might have mistook it for like people going to the
actually started leaving, and my friend who was there, he left too.
Yeah, people might think we're bullshitting, that we might have just mistook people going to the concessions as people leaving. No, people left. Like, people that went to concessions, you saw every now people going back. But for every person you saw going back, they were going back against this huge line of people that were just walking out. Like, this big line. And every time the camera went to this position where they were leaving, there were still people walking. Still people leaving. And every now and then you just see, like, one or two guys walking back.
The match was exactly the same as last year's.
They knew what was going to happen to the point where this might have been the most predictable match.
This is the most predictable match I've ever seen in my entire life. And another thing, ring psychology doesn't equal using your finisher a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
They used their finisher like 16 fucking times in the match.
I'm sorry, right? This match did no character development for either person. Fucking last year, there's the point where Cena got all cocky and started ripping off The Rock, and he was going to do his own people's elbow. He's going to do the rock bottom, and he said, that's what lost me the match. What did he do last year? He did the exact same thing, and people said, that's good ring psychology? No, that's the exact same match.
That's literally the same match, but one thing different.
What people said was good ring psychology is last year, the way Cena won, which I don't know how I fucking remember this because I don't remember anything else about
Cena lost.
Cena lost, I mean. Yeah, the way he lost last year was by going to do the people's elbow and then the Rock, playing possum and doing the rock bottom and getting John Cena for the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time Cena was like, "Oh, I'm going to do this again." Went to do the people's elbow.
That spot? if he thought about
and
doing it,
the Rock jumped up, but Cena had waited on the ropes.
you know what would have been a better spot if they did that? He should try to go for it, but then just stop himself and go, no, that's fucking stupid.
You know, it would have been a better spot if he just hadn't done that.
Yeah.
It's just he learned nothing from the last match. He went to do the
Exactly.
I think the problem with this,
And
the
how
biggest
is this
problem
ring
with
psych?
this though,
How is it
the
ring
biggest
psych?
problem with this is, you go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The biggest problem with this is that Cena's only as good as the guy he works
The
with.
best part is, he stopped himself from doing it, and Brock got up, and then he countered the fucking FU into, like, the AA into the fucking rock bottom anyway.
So there was no.
There was no point.
Right.
He countered it anyway, so Brock still, the same thing happened. It's just Cena kicked out.
I didn't think it was possible to have a worse match than last year's, but this match was literally just, let's see how many finishers we can throw at the screen.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that
They got like 35 minutes.
Cena has never had good ring psychology at any point. He doesn't.
For like 30 minutes.
He really doesn't know how to tell a story.
He does 35 minutes, and half of it was not doing anything.
You had 35 minutes, and you spent most of it just throwing finishers back and forth between each other. How is this ring psychology? Please, somebody answer me this. How is this ring? This was a Ring of Honor match. A not good Ring of Honor.
This is shitty Ring of Honor match.
Also, my friend also went to a Ring of Honor taping, and it was shit. So
people left the arena. How long is it that WWE? Did you not get does anyone not get the message when people are leaving your arena that they're bored and they want to go?
Especially because most of the crowd is booing.
Honestly, Rock versus Cena is the match that you put on in the middle, not the.
And they're gonna do it again. They're gonna do it again.
You had two different world. Like, you had the fucking one of the best matches of the night, and you decide, I'm going to put that in the middle of the show.
Yeah, Rock versus Cena is the match you put in the middle of the show, and you don't make that long because Rock, he's a big draw, but he's not a wrestling talent.
It's weird that, like, one title didn't even, like, it was halfway in the show and no one kind of not cared that much. And the other title match, no one fucking wanted to see.
Well, the thing is though, is the only titles that matter right now are the tag titles.
Yeah. It's just no one fucking cares
Well,
about the World Heavyweight
not right
title.
now. But we'll get to that when we get to Raw.
I want to know. Do we want to review Raw as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that after this.
Okay. I just want to know if you did cut down on matches for this. Cena and Rock had time to think about what they were going to do. They could have made this good, in a way, a little bit. They could have made it decent, at least. This was no main event. This is WrestleMania.
What do you do when both guys only know 5 moves?
This is WrestleMania. The biggest event of the year for you. This is the main event that you're putting on. Not good enough.
And you've done it twice in a year as well.
You've done it twice in a year. Wasn't good enough last year. There was hype over it. People liked it. It's the return of The Rock. Rock versus Cena. It's something a lot of people wanted to see. Fair enough. Did it a second time in a row. That's your chance to make it better than the previous year. That's your chance to give people a reason to see it again.
I just thought there was no way they could make it worse than last year.
And you somehow made it worse than last year's.
Yep.
I have nothing. I'm not a fan of John Cena, but I'm not one of those people that will venomously hate the man.
I think John Cena's a cool guy, but he's not that great at wrestling.
He's a good man.
And of course, not that I should have expected it, because I didn't. But of course, yet another chance that WWE had to possibly turn him heel, and they didn't.
What chance did they have?
Listen, look. John Cena's already a heel. He's the most booed man in the company.
No, I'm sorry, but yeah, technically he's already heel. But I didn't really see a chance. I didn't see opportunity for Cena to turn heel from this match. Not from this match. No. He won the match. There's no reason to turn heel.
I meant like
I don't know what you're talking
he could have
about.
won. He could have won by.
Why?
I don't. Because it needs to happen.
No,
Why does it need to happen?
Because it's time for a change. That's all there is to it.
But that's not the right change to be made.
It's not the right change to be made. I'm sorry, but if you look at
It's not that he needs to be heel. He just needs to do something different.
he just needs to do something different. He can be a face and do something different.
I'm sorry. To me, that's just not good enough.
Well, it's fair enough. That's your opinion about this. I don't see how this match constitutes a heel.
Because the reason why
I love
no
heel.
one's liking Cena is because he doesn't do anything different.
He doesn't
Ever.
do anything different. If he was a face and did something different, people might like him more. But I don't know. I'm not one of those guys that venomously hates him. And I prefer heels over faces. I prefer heels over faces. But I'll admit, there's no reason for Cena to turn heel. I'd like.
Well, I don't hate him. I don't hate him as a person. I will say that. But this was I officially at this point, full stop. I have absolutely no respect for him as a wrestler or a character. None.
I wouldn't go to that.
Zero.
But
Well, he's only as good as Nathan said. He's only as good as the people he wrestles. That's why you'll notice when he goes up.
No, he's not.
He is. I'm sorry. When you
No, he's not.
That's why Cena can put on.
No.
No.
Rocktown, before you start yelling at me, listen. His match with CM Punk was probably the best match he put on in the entire year, and was probably one of the better matches of the entire year of Raw.
Let's be fair. That was the best match of his career.
Before Punk versus Taker happened, that could still be in the running of match of the year. That's how good Cena was with Punk. Okay.
I had to really think about it honestly, and I think that we're being fooled. Every good match that Cena's ever had.
I was going to say
we're being fooled into thinking that he's better than those matches were better than they actually were.
I was going to say that Cena's the kind of wrestler who's carried by the quality of the other wrestler.
Yeah, he is carried by the. That's why his matches with Punk are so good.
That's why his matches with Rock.
That's the thing, though. Is Cena? The problem with those matches is because Cena's not good in those matches. The other guy is.
Yeah, but Cena
that's
can.
what we're saying. We're saying Cena's only as good as other people.
Cena can work with them
that
enough.
Still leaves the problem that Cena can't wrestle in those wrestle.
Cena can work with the good person enough to put on a match that's either good or passable. But if he's with someone awful, then it's the most horrible match ever.
Yeah, it's when it's such a weird contrast to look back at his match with Punk and people say that was a fucking good match. It's one of the best Cena matches I've ever seen. And people are saying that should be the main event of. People said that should have been the main event of WrestleMania.
Well, I think that the thing is, the other problem is, of course, I think the only good matches that most people remember him for, are going to probably remember him for, are matches that he's had with the right people. Other than that, other than that, his good matches are rare.
I was going to say
it's like an aberration. It's like an aberration. It happens once in a great while, so he can't keep it consistent.
Okay, Ollie, now you.
The thing is with Cena, he's kind of like Hulk Hogan in the way that he's kind of a mediocre wrestler, but he's remembered for the matches against great people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can totally agree with that.
Yeah.
He's fucking 3-star average all the way around, but when it's with someone good, then people remember that match. Because it's making him look good.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, when you look at his moveset and how he wrestled, quite generic. like Cena, and look at his moveset and how he wrestles. Quite not, yeah, quite basic. But I mean, Cena probably has things in his arsenal that he could use, but chooses not to, or that the company won't let him to. I don't know. I don't control Cena's moveset. I don't know who does. I don't know what say he has in his moveset. Maybe they say, no, you do this, you stay safe. Or maybe he decides to stay safe because he doesn't want to risk injury anymore. I don't know. But it's pretty much quite like Hulk Hogan was. Just stick with what he knew and what he can do. And it was quite a mediocre, decent wrestler.
The part I find a bit confusing though, where it comes to this Cena Rock thing, is what this match was supposed to be anyway. Was Cena was Rock passing the torch to Cena, right?
What passing of the torch?
Hasn't Cena, isn't Cena like a 10-time champion?
12, 11, something like that.
Well, he's 11 now.
11, yeah.
I thought he was 13.
I think
10-time
Rock,
WWE champion, 11
I
times
think
WWE.
Rock, it's a little too late to pass the torch.
Your torch has burned
There
out.
was no torch to be passed.
Yeah,
No, there was a
you
torch,
can't
but
pass
it was
the torch when the
smoldering.
guy you're passing the torch to is more successful than you.
I was
I mean,
gonna-
it's obvious they were going for a passing of the torch here, because they do that thing at the end where Rock holds up Cena's hand and like motions his hand to Cena to say, yeah, John Cena.
I completely
And, like-
forgot about all my complaints about you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, yay, you passed the torch to a guy who already had the torch.
Yeah,
You
that's what I have the most problem with.
you
with
kind of
this
just relit his torch. Thank you, Rock.
I was gonna say, like, what does he have to earn from beating Rock?
Nothing.
I mean, he won a title, but come on, he could do that.
That's my whole point about this main event. What was to be had for either man? I don't care if John Cena's in the main event, because there's matches that can outshine the main event, as Taker and Punk did. People can steal the show. The main event doesn't always mean it's the biggest match of the show.
It should be, but it isn't.
Even though it should be. But let's say it was let's just say Cena was in the main event. Let's just say hypothetically he was against Punk. I can see both men having something to get out of that. Punk wants to prove he's the best in the world and beat Cena. And let's just say Cena has the title. Let's say Rock didn't even win the title. Cena won it from Punk. Punk wants to win his title back and prove he's the best in the world. Cena wants to keep the title and beat the guy that's been a thorn in his side for the entirety of the year. That's a story right there that can be told.
This is the reason why bringing the Rock
And yet,
in is
this
a bad
entire
decision.
year, all they did is hype this one match, and it, like, completely failed any expectation they had.
It failed any and every expectations. The people that stayed...
Honestly, probably one of the reasons why it sucked, because it was just hyped so much. And it was like the second coming of Jesus when it comes to wrestling, but it isn't.
And the people that stayed in the arena, the people that weren't leaving, either some of them booed, and you could hear booing in this match.
This match was shit on by the
You
crowd.
could hear quite a lot of booing. But the people that you heard cheering, those people left weren't fans, they were morons. They were smarks. They were the reason that we get shit like this year in.
Okay, John Cena's a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion and an 11-time WWE Champion.
The people that stayed and cheered for this match, the people that say that crap of throwing finisher after finisher after finisher at the screen is good ring psychology, people who want to come up with an excuse for John Cena doing the exact same thing he did last year and saying, well, he's learning from last year. No, he's not. They're doing the exact same match and giving you the illusion that there's been some character development. John Cena's going to go off and be the little smarmy bastard he is. And don't mind me, I'm not complaining about that. I love smarmy John Cena. When he's fucking a dick to everyone that's been a dick to him, love it. But when he starts telling that, when a few weeks go by and he starts telling kiddie jokes again, and he starts being goofy, fruity pebbles, where's the shit? What? That's the thing. Whatever story you put Cena in, You can't take it seriously because he doesn't take it seriously. And even when he does, he'll go back to his jokey, goofy self. And you can never take that man seriously because he doesn't take himself seriously or whoever he faces. Or
Yeah,
whoever
I think the thing is though is we are coming from the opinion of WWE being a show for adults.
No, I fully admit it's a show for kids.
WWE's coming from this as a show for kids, but if you look at entertainment in general, you can have stuff that's for kids and also for adults.
Look at the Batman cartoon when that came out.
No, look. No, that was the 90s. Let's go with something more recent. Let's say Pixar. Just Pixar movies in general. Those can have good character development. You know, they can, and they're for kids. Both sides of the coin can enjoy it. Why can't they do the same thing with Cena? Oh, that's right, because Cena's not talented enough.
I'd love to be a Cena fan. The man is one of the greatest human beings. If we had more people like that in this world as a human being, this world would be a much happier place, for one thing. One of the greatest human beings I've ever come across. The stuff he does for charity and the things he does to help people. Never gonna take that away from him at all. Wouldn't even want to. Wish there were more people like that man in the world, to be honest with you, but as a wrestling character, wrestling in general, I've had enough of John Cena.
Exactly.
I've had enough. I don't want him to turn heel. I just want him to do something different. I want him to take things seriously. I want him to be a serious character. I don't want to walk in thinking, ooh, character development for Cena, finally. And then a few weeks down the line, herp-a-derp-a-derp, it's time for me to be joking again.
Yeah, this is always the problem, is they can't, for some reason, like wrestling, they can't have something that appeals to both crowds because they treat adults like smarks, like all adults are smarks apparently, and all kids are dumb shits. They can't, for some reason, they don't seem to be able to understand that there is a casual fan base.
They can't make a likable character who can give a little wink to the people who like.
I'm not even saying Cena has to change his wrestling style, just his character. He can still be Superman for all I care and overcome the odds whenever they come and give him odds to overcome. I'm just saying the character. You can have him be this super serious superhero kind of babyface. And what would be the problem? He'd still appeal to kids? Why would him becoming
honestly,
a serious character?
People keep going on about the Cena heel turn. Just have him be smarky all the time. I love that Cena.
I love smarmy Cena. I just hate it when he goes to kids' jokes and just herp-a-derp. Like we're gonna review Raw in a bit. Fucking, I want that Cena.
He's fucking in his early to mid 30s and like he still acts like that. That's weird.
I just want him to be serious. That's it. Or if you're gonna have him be goofy, be smarmy at least. Give the crowd shit.
Look, kids find things that are actually funny as well.
Yeah. You'd be surprised the amount of kids that I've met that get adult humor. Like, some of it...
Not like immature adult humor, which is
not immature adult humor, not like sex jokes and shit like that. No, like, fucking proper adult humor. Shit that adults find funny and that isn't immature. But I've seen kids get that. Some stuff, if it may fly over their heads, and that's when you insert things that the kids will get. Like Pixar movies, you give adult jokes so that parents aren't wasting their time, and you put in a good set of characters and story for the kids to enjoy, maybe something cutesy for the little ones to enjoy, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, and one of the things about Pixar is even when they do some of the safer kid style jokes, even it's like they know when to do them, and they know how to construct a joke that so even the adults like it.
Yeah.
In the end,
In the end, it just comes down to bad writing, though.
it is bad writing, and that's not John Cena's fault.
That's not mutually exclusive to Cena.
That's not mutually exclusive to Cena, no. And I can imagine some people listening to this, if they ever do, probably were thinking of us as marks or IWC marks. I'm not going to mention any names, but you know.
Well, listen, anyone that's listening to this is in the IWC.
Anyone listening to this, you're in the IWC, whether you want to admit it or not. You're on the internet, talking about wrestling, listening to a wrestling podcast that's part of a community.
Because the thing is,
on the-
I don't come from.
You're on the internet.
Come from a background in, yeah.
You're on the internet talking about wrestling in a community.
You are part of the IWC, whether you wish you weren't or whether you wish you weren't or not.
Yeah,
You're
to
part of it.
kind of explain where my opinions like kind of come from, is I've done film studies. I study media in general. I don't study wrestling. As a guy that does animation and filmmaking, you can see problems in just film storytelling. Which let's be honest, that's what WWE is now.
And
Storytelling business, yes.
I'm a writer, so I can tell when something is bad writing.
It's a storytelling business, and I've always been the one that thinks you can tell a story through wrestling. Because you can. It's been proven in the past. You can tell a story through a wrestling match.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was WrestleMania 29.
Was
Is anyone surprised that John Cena won?
I'm not surprised at all. It was better than last year's WrestleMania.
It was good, but it fell off.
It was good, but it's the problem that WrestleMania has suffered for a long time now, and that it's not WrestleMania caliber of matches.
My biggest problem with this one, it's been the same for quite a few years now, is they just overbook it.
They overbook it.
They overbook it, and at the same time, they don't put enough time to it.
It's weird, yeah. They book the shit out of it, and then they'll just focus on one or two things. It's the same thing that happened last year. It's the same thing that's happened for years. And these matches are good matches, but they're not WrestleMania matches, and that's the problem here. And that's going to be the problem as long as WWE keeps doing this, and WWE is going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
That's not what I hear.
Especially with the rumor that it's going to be Rock Brock next year.
And with the rumor it's going to be Rock Brock next year for the main event.
That match isn't waiting to happen.
That might be the next Rock Goldberg. It's been 10 years. I guess Brock wants to give us a happy 10-year anniversary.
Happy 10 years is still shit.
Happy 10 years, WrestleMania!
It's 10 years since I took a dump. Time to do it again.
Time to do it again. I've been building it up for years. It might kill me, but god damn it needs to be done.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen, but
I weep for the future because I know one day we're not going to get an awesome Taker match for WrestleMania, and then what are we going to have?
Well, hopefully he'll pass the torch on to CM Punk.
What are we going to have?
CM Punk?
Not a whole lot.
Dolph Ziggler? Daniel Bryan, maybe?
You expect WWE to actually give a shit about any of those people when they should?
Well, CM Punk is like the only one that actually they do kind of give a shit about now.
You really think that if Vince McMahon had a choice, he'd put CM Punk in any of the matches he's put him in? He just knows that he kind of has to right now. You really think that Vince McMahon is a CM Punk guy?
He doesn't like Punk, but everyone else does, so Vince is just like, fine, I'm going to put him in.
Yeah, he doesn't like Punk at all.
He's pretty much the opposite of what Vince wants in the main event. He wants a company. He wants a big, strong company guy, and Punk is none of those things.
See, the thing I like about this is that no matter how hard he's trying, modern ideals are coming into WWE very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how hard he's trying, smaller guys are making their way in.
Well, there's one thing about sort of like being loyal to the company and doing most of what they ask you for, but at the same time you need if just bowing, just kind of kowtowing to the company is the problem.
That's the problem, yeah. That's the reason that some people don't ever get to go above mid-card status, is just because they listen to everything the company says, and eventually, well, good luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah, I think there's a very strange line because
There is
we see
they tell you if you're a company guy, you're gonna do well, but yet again, at the same time, they tell you if you're too scared to go off and do your own thing, you're not gonna succeed.
yeah, it's this weird fine line of being able to do more with what you're given than what you should be able to do.
I mean, it seems everyone else except Vince McMahon is, even Triple H. Like in the end, he took a look at CM Punk and said, "You know what? Yeah,
That would work.
that'll."
He could be kind of like a newer. He could be like kind of like a newer Shawn Michaels, without.
Yeah, even Triple H in the end was like, "You know what? Yeah, that's our next guy right there."
Well, that's the thing is CM Punk has earned his place,
He has.
and not very few guys can say that.
I mean, he earned the respect of Triple H, of Undertaker. At first, Undertaker didn't respect him, and then in the end, like, yeah, you know what? This guy's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Undertaker didn't think shit about Punk until he had his first match with Punk. He probably would have never have thought of facing Punk at WrestleMania before he had this little feud.
Yeah, imagine what Taker would say if he'd heard that he was having
Imagine when, Taker had thought of the way he did about Punk now, and he said, "Oh yeah, we're putting you up against Punk at WrestleMania." He wouldn't let that match happen.
Yeah.
That's when
But
Punk.
yeah, this is the match that his the World Heavyweight Championship match.
I don't know if you hear it, if you guys hear it, but excuse me if some idiot outside my apartment is honking a really weird, annoying horn.
We haven't heard anything.
It sounds like this.
No, we don't hear it. Don't worry. But okay. So that was WrestleMania 29, and I've got to say, I know we're a bit early for it, but what do we think is going to happen for WrestleMania 30, guys?
A bit early, just a year in front.
They're already. I read somewhere that they're already penciling. They've already penciled in Brock versus Rock.
I'm fully aware. And like I said, that might just be the Goldberg Brock Lesnar 10-year anniversary.
I could see that being worse than Brock.
I could
versus Goldberg.
I could, fully and capably so.
I just hope he acts like an ape the entire time.
Hopefully there will be a Taker match at WrestleMania. If there is, I can see that being his last. 30th WrestleMania.
I think it's going to be another. I think it's going to be another Punk match.
I
personally.
hope it's another Punk match, because right now, obviously, I can't see who'd face him. Maybe Ziggler. Oh, that might be a good match, actually. Ziggler versus Taker.
So much.
I don't know. I don't think Ziggler will be built up that much by then.
Yeah.
Ziggler's
that's kind of the problem. That's what kind of the other problem is. Like, we've wanted to see like Cody Rhodes, but they would need a serious. They would seriously need to build him up for that to happen.
That ain't gonna happen. I can see. I wouldn't mind Punk versus Taker 2, especially if they were given more time. Especially if the main event is Rock versus Brock. They're probably not gonna cut down as much on matches as they did for Cena Rock.
Yeah.
But do we think we're gonna get thrice in a lifetime?
No.
Not for WrestleMania.
No,
I just
I
think.
think we might get it at Extreme Rules because
I was thinking that they probably might put Cena as a special referee or something.
No, I'm thinking we're going to get thrice in a lifetime. Because Rock, he's been fully made aware of it. He has a rematch.
I think that's going to happen at a smaller pay-per-view, though.
I hope so. 'Cause I ain't waiting a year for that. Fuck you, WWE. I ain't waiting a year for that. So yeah, that was WrestleMania 29. This is the C show. We're going to be talking about Raw in a little bit, and that's much better than what we're going to be talking about now. So, I was Riddler saying...
what was your grade for WrestleMania?
My grade? Or out of 10 or like 11?
Yeah, out of 10.
Out of 10.
For me, it was a solid 7. It would have been
I'm
a
not
lot
going to
higher.
give it a number. I'm not going to give it a number grade. I'll give it a letter grade. I'll give it a C minus.
I'll give it a B minus.
I'd give it a B.
Actually, let's make that let's just make it a C.
Just
I'll
flat.
give it a B.
It was like good enough for me not to hate it.
But it's good
not
enough for me not to hate it.
But like not
Yeah,
good enough for me to go. That was amazing.
If that main event had been like if that main event had been different,
If that main
That
event
main
was
event had not been there at all.
if that main event was good, then it would have.
If that main event had not been there at all, you know, then yeah. If Punk versus Taker was actually the main event, like it should have been. But yeah, I'm Riddler saying WrestleMania as it used to be, it's long gone. Long gone.
Yeah.
yeah, this is Liquid Nation saying da 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 fucking babies.
I'm still tired.
That was Ali.
Yes.
Oh, right, me. Sorry.
God damn it.
This is Rockton. This is Rockton saying, you know, I wouldn't be a jaded and cynical wrestling fan if the mainstream wrestling hadn't made me that way.
Honestly, I just want to have good wrestling to watch. That's all I care about.
That's all I want. That's all I'll ever want.
Just
I'm
wrestle.
gonna get it.
Just wrestle good, please.
Exactly. That's all
I
we
want good storylines. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I want both. I want good storylines and good wrestling. I don't.
But
think
again,
that's
I'm
much to
coming.
ask.
I'm not coming out as a wrestling show. I'm coming out as a piece of media.
And I'm coming in as a writer and a wrestling fan. So hey.
And a writer. Yeah.
Make character
Okay,
development
so-
actually worth something. Okay, bye.